Yo, yo, yo. We're talking Travis Etienne here on the Fantasy Football Show. And it's a late night Dynasty live stream. We'll probably be here for about 5 to 8 minutes. I don't think we'll do a very long show at all. But we drafted this guy and redrafted at 3.6. But I want to talk about, and we did that tonight on a live best ball draft, promo code Smitty at Underdog Fantasy. But we drafted him at 3.6, or he got drafted at 3.6. Is that a good value? Is that where he should be going? Klondike first in the building. Let's discuss Travis Etienne. Where does he go in a Dynasty startup? Drop it in the live chat, and I'll throw your answers on screen. The Fantasy Football Show Dynasty Edition on Travis Etienne. It begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? Appreciate you. God, I got background noise. Appreciate you coming in here. And let me drop this link in the previous live chat. People might be waiting for it. There's the link right there, guys. I dropped it in there. Okay, so we got Ron Navy in the building, Jared's in the building, Casey, Ada, Travis, Klondike, and Peanut Butter and Waivers. We're talking Travis Etienne. We're talking Dynasty. Appreciate you all being here. Hit that like button on your way in the door. Where are we drafting Travis Etienne in Dynasty? Drop your, okay, what is this channel? This is the Dynasty channel, Josh. Appreciate you being here. Please hit subscribe. Clearly, it's your first time here. We need your subscribe. Click that subscribe button, Josh. Addis is 1.3 JK. Probably 2.10 to 3.6. So not much different than his redraft ADP, which is nice to hear that some of you think you're still getting him at the top of round 3 at least, or at the very earliest, right? Top of round 3. I like anywhere in round 3. I think if redrafts were okay with 3.6, I think in Dynasty, 3.1 to 3.5 is gold. I think that packages in a lot of risk for Travis Etienne. I think Etienne anywhere in the second round becomes a different monster. He's still very capable of earning late second round value, even mid second round value. But the fact that, you know, we don't fully know if they're throwing to this guy the way we want them to be throwing to him to warrant mid second round value. Not liking Etienne at 2.5 is more about liking other players better than it is not liking Etienne at 2.5. You know what I mean? It's not a negative. It's not a, oh, we doubt him at 2.5. It's just that at 2.5, you're talking about a Chris Olave. You're talking about a Walker or Hall potentially still being there. Now in Dynasty, Walker and Hall in redraft have been going around 18 to 25. Hall usually goes around 24, 25, 26, which is a steal. Your third drafted player redraft, home run for Breece Hall. Get breeced. Get breeced.
Get breeced.
In Dynasty, though, I imagine he's going in the, and we don't have a lot of solid Dynasty data to look at because, you know, mock draft data is just not great at this point, but I would say he's more like 8 to 15. Kenneth Walker's probably around 15. I imagine they both could fall to 15, 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there. But I could also see Breece Hall going at the bottom of round 1. I could see Kenneth Walker going at the 12, 13 turn, if I had to guess. Yeah, Josh, this is a Dynasty channel. It's different than the other channels, so please hit the subscribe button on the new. Oh, you did? Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Some people think it's the same channel. They're like, I'm subscribed already, Smitty. This is a different channel. I'll take Etienne around a mid or late second round. That's Casey would take him higher. Etienne is one of my 9 keepers in Dynasty. Nice job. Nice job. Smitty, depends on if the drafters like early running backs or wide receivers. Very good point. Sometimes it might be in a 3 wide receiver league. Running backs are going to fall. A 3 required wide receiver league. In a 2 wide receiver league with a flex is very different. I feel like Dynasty doesn't like early running backs. You can get a steal at 3.6 to 3.11. I kind of feel like the ad is right. You're not going to see a need to take Etienne in round 2 in Dynasty. I don't think he's falling. All right, I don't think he's climbing. I think Walker and Hall do. I think Walker and Hall go from 18 to 25. So Breece Hall being a 24, 25, 26 overall player coming off an ACL tear. I think Walker and Hall climb to top of round 2. Maybe one of them's in the 11, 10, 12, 13 turn territory. The other one is at the top of round 2. Etienne, I feel like, is going to float in the third round, and that's a steal. Saquon. So the test says for me, it's Saquon, Etienne, Brees, and Kenneth Walker. That's interesting. You have Etienne above Brees and Kenneth Walker. I don't know that I could do that, but I understand it. Football Smitty, I sent you an IG voicemail about the website, pal. Thank you. I'll take a look at what you're suggesting. I don't know what it is what you're talking about, but I'll take a look at it. Thank you. He's in the middle of everyone. He's the middle child everyone overlooks. You're talking about Etienne? All right, let's take one call and discuss this topic here. We've been live for 5 minutes. I said we'd go live for like 8 to 10 minutes on the Dynasty channel. We can do this once a day, easy. Talk about one player at a time. Dynasty value. What do we like? What do we don't like? Etienne could win you a league in the third round. He really could. And imagine if they throw to him. Guys, they're not throwing to him. They're not throwing to him. This is probably a top 5 receiving back in the National Football League. He's arguably the best receiving back in his draft class. After Jamar Chase and after a couple wide receivers, he's arguably the third or fourth best pass catcher, period, in his draft class. And they refuse to throw the football to him. Now, that's a negative. That's something we're concerned about. It needs to be remedied. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that's on one hand. On the other hand, though, if they start throwing to Etienne, he becomes a top 5 running back. So that's why the risk is baked in round 3, because if they throw to this man and give him anything near 60 receptions, which they should do, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for Etienne. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Anybody want to dial in? We'll take one phone call on this real quick. Now we can draft, fellas. Finally left work. Haha, says the test. Appreciate you. The test. Where do you work? What do you do? What field of work do you do this late at night? I'm curious. I saw you in the regular channel, says Ada. Guys, if you're here and you don't realize you're on the Dynasty channel, please subscribe. We're trying to grow the Dynasty channel in a massive way, and so I need your help. We're going to start doing hopefully one live stream or one video per day. I know I keep saying I'm going to get on that, and I will. I promise you. So I'm trying to get into a rhythm, working the Dynasty channel into the content. Love this community. Good vibes. Appreciate you, Detest. Thank you. Detest, call in. Give me a 30-second question and rant, and then jump off. Get on your way, and we'll discuss. Phone lines are open. Briefly. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Where is my... We're talking Etienne. Nice to have people that are as passionate as I am about fantasy football. Appreciate you. Detest. Peanut Butter and Waivers is in the building. We got about 20 people in here. Punch that thumb up button. Appreciate you. And we're probably getting out of here. I was just going to take a phone call or two. Again, tonight we drafted Etienne and redraft at 3.5. Healthcare. Okay. Nice. Out saving lives, Detest. Appreciate you. Glad I found out about this channel. Thank you, Josh. Glad to have you. I try and promote it all the time, so I'm surprised you haven't heard it yet. But I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you're here, and that's all that matters. 3.1 to 3.6 is a steal for Travis Etienne. Trade for him in Dynasty. Don't trade him away in Dynasty. Trade for him in Dynasty. He's not in a void. He's a top 5 to 10 running back in Dynasty. If they throw to him, the sky's the limit. Etienne round 5 or so. Round 3, Terry. Round 3 in both redraft and Dynasty. If you find him at round 5, you're taking candy from a baby, bro. That's insane. If you can get him at 5, that would be crazy good. I'm new to Dynasty, but I still got Etienne 28 to 35 overall. And that's exactly where you should have him. I Smitty approved that. I'm basically like 911 for the hospital as an operator, almost like a call center. I like that, bro. That's got to be a fun, exciting job. Your days probably fly by. You probably take like, I imagine you take like 20 calls. I imagine 15 to 20 calls, something like that. I bet your day flies by. Smitty, who would you take at 1.9 in a Dynasty Superflex startup? It depends on, that's a loaded question. If like Fields or Trevor Lawrence were there, you'd smash it, bro. But you might have to go with one of the top 4 wide receivers or top 2 running backs at that point, and just hope you get the quarterback you want in round 2. It's a tough draft slot, very tough draft slot. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Yeah, you're speaking with the test, man. How are you doing today?
The test, my guy. What's up, the test? Hey.
So, like, yeah, you said that, like, Mixon was like on your like fantasy like panic thing. Like, is there a situation where you see like maybe Mixon like maybe turning it around, like maybe getting some protection at the O-line?
So we're on the Dynasty channel right now. So from I could speak to redraft for a little bit, but on the Dynasty perspective, like he's done for me. He's done so. Okay. Could he have half a year somewhere? Like, let's say he went to we kicked around the idea of Miami. Could he play really well in like Miami for like 10 games? Sure. But he's already dropping off physically. We kind of feel that when we watch him, right? He's also 50% likely to get released by the Bengals. So they're still kicking the tires right now about 2023, but he's, unless he restructures or something or takes a pay cut, they're most likely going to release him. That's the sense we've gotten so far. They could totally change their mind. They could be testing the trade market right now and finding something, but even if Mixon got cut, he'd probably find a home, but I don't know if he'd find a bona fide starting job somewhere. Like, he's going to land somewhere. There's not a lot of job openings right now where it's like totally wide open. So if Mixon got cut, where would he go? Would he go to, like, I don't know, trying to think of a location. The Chicago Bears.
I think the Rams would be low-key nice for him.
Yeah, but then they got Akers, so it's like, what do you like? Is that going to be a good place? No, I mean, if he gets cut, he's in a bad spot. And from a fantasy perspective, Mixon can't do much. I don't think anywhere else. I think he's got to take a pay cut. He's got to bank on the Bengals keeping him, and maybe they don't even need to take a pay cut. Maybe he doesn't need to take a pay cut. Maybe they just keep him, and they bring in like a mid rookie. Nothing crazy. Maybe it's a Deuce Vaughn who we like a lot for the future, but he's not going to take Mixon's job outright. It's going to be some kind of split. Maybe it's Sean Tucker, and Sean Tucker gets the job by midseason. What?
I just feel like Deuce Vaughn is just way too small. I mean, he can obviously have moved. Like, he just reminds me of like a smaller DeAndre Swift in a way.
Yeah, I felt a lot more like that before the combine, but he just looked he carried himself very big at the combine. Like, you didn't know he was small. Like, it's crazy. He is small, but he ran really hard and really tough. I think he's a good player. I was just giving you an example, though. The test is the test. Hang tight. The test. Avi, you're live with the test and Smitty.
Yo, what's up? I was just going to chip in on Travis Etienne and Dynasty. How, he can be a steal. That I think him getting hurt his first season kind of is going to help him a little, actually, down the line. It wasn't like a major injury. So I love the Etienne topic.
Yeah, he's so talented, and the red flag for Etienne is not throwing him the football. Like, it's almost like if someone acquired, and I'm not trying to compare Etienne and CMC necessarily, although I don't think it's that crazy because they play a very similar. Etienne's on his way up, Christian McCaffrey's at his peak, and potentially you don't know when he's going to dip down. So I don't think it's that unreasonable to start comparing their game a little bit. But Etienne, imagine CMC going to a team and them not throwing him the ball. Like, this is what it feels like to me. So while I say I love Etienne, and while I say Etienne's a league winner, we have to be a little bit curious and critical of this staff and this club not throwing him the ball. Like, this is borderline incompetence, as we talk about a lot with these coaching staffs. How do you not throw him the ball? He's literally, even with all the talented wide receivers and pass catchers on this team, from Ridley to Evan Ingram. You could argue he is tied or as capable as every single pass catcher on this team. And he's got the law dog that's just itching to throw the ball to him, I'm sure. But it's like they don't design anything for him. They don't even, I don't know what their plan is. Are they going to deploy that this year? Are they taking it step by step? We have kind of heard them, if I remember correctly, talk about easing him in, because that was essentially his rookie year. You know, he was injured his entire rookie year, didn't play one snap. Yeah. So that was essentially his rookie year. He was learning pass protection in some respects, right? But even when he was on the field, they didn't look to him. So like, that's weird to me. That concerns me. That's a red flag for sure. And the injury, the foot, that's a red flag. But God, I love this guy. If they threw to him, Avi, he'd be a top 5 running back, a lock. If he got 60 receptions, he'd be a lock, top 5.
He was my favorite player at Clemson. He was so dynamic. I think hopefully he'll get some more targets and stuff. I think it's coming, but no, it is a concern. It's not about Etienne's concern. It's just the team's concern.
The Patrick says keep an eye on Bijan's backup, Roschon Johnson. I like Roschon a lot. If Roschon landed in a really good spot, I could see him climbing up. Like, let's say, back to the Mixon comment by Detest. Let's say the Bengals keep Mixon and they draft Roschon Johnson. That would be a great spot for him, because like, he's under the radar. No one's going to expect him to start. He's a handcuff at best in fantasy, and then Mixon falters, or he just wears down because he's been abused. Like, it's not Mixon's fault. Like, he's been abused for a while. They've been shoving him out on the front line on eight-man front situations for years. And now it just so happens the Bengals are dominant, and he's already like at his decline year, And maybe he has one more year left. Maybe I'm a year early. It's happened before. I've been a year early. Like I thought Derrick Henry would drop off last year, and he still was able to squeeze out another year. So sometimes I'm a year early, and I'd rather be a year early than a year late. I admit that in Dynasty especially. But Mixon, I'm out on in Dynasty. I don't care. I'm not changing my mind on that. But I'm just saying, if, let's say, Mixon stayed, Roschon Johnson in Cincy would be kind of interesting. Sean Tucker would be very interesting there. I, for some reason, picture Sean Tucker in Cincinnati. I don't know why. Etienne was a big pass catcher in college. Exactly, Russell. It's head scratching that they don't want to use this guy. It's weird. It's mind boggling. One of my leagues.
This is off topic, man. Mm-hmm. I just want to know, Smitty, are you an Arizona Cardinals fan? So
I am, because I'm in Arizona, born and raised here, so I'm total Cardinal fan. But I'm not. I'm so capable of separating that from fantasy. Like, when I'm wearing my fantasy hat, I have total objectivity. I have 100% objectivity. And I when I first got into football, when I was just a little guy, I got into fantasy the first time I ever watched football. Like, my first game I've ever seen of football. Like, I mean, my dad had it on when I was little. I probably never even looked at it when I was a tiny, tiny kid. But the first time I watched an NFL game, I had a fantasy team drafted for it. So I'm like one of those very rare, unique fantasy football fans before I was an NFL fan. And so it gave me a weird objectivity to it that I literally, to this day, I could literally care less about the Cardinals winning the game when I'm talking or looking at it from a certain angle. And then, of course, when I'm in that fan perspective, I'm bummed. I want them to win. But I don't have that fandom homer slanted view that a lot of people would with the Cardinals, because it's all about business to me, first of all. Like, it's more important to me to report on it objectively about the Cardinals than to actually try and be like optimistic about Kyler or something. I'll tell you, I don't like Kyler right now.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. Trust me, I know.
Honestly,
Yeah,
Brian MC says, honestly, I didn't enjoy owning Etienne last season. Hopefully he's better this time. I mean, he had a good year, Brian. I don't know why you didn't enjoy owning him. I think he was a little inconsistent. There were some spots where we were waiting for him to get unleashed, but similar to Breece Hall and Walker, we waited on those guys. And again, Etienne's 2022 season was like a rookie year, so they kind of eased him in too, as if he was a rookie. And they were worried about his foot. There was a time where he got banged up a little bit with the foot, and they were concerned about that. But, I mean, Etienne really did show up. He showed up and showed out, all in all. He had a great year. What did he finish in most scoring formats? Let me pull that up here. Because, I mean, I can understand you wanted him to deliver all year long. I get that perspective. But what did he finish? Let me pull up a league here. Let me pull up a league. Just a random league. And see running backs, leaders, running backs, 2022 season statistical sort by RBs. Etienne finished as RB. Really, 18? That is lower than I would have expected. Let me pull up another league just to make sure that's not a weird format here. Let's go leaders, RBs, 2022. Sort by stats. Etienne. Yeah, 18, 17 or 18, running back 17 or 18. That's definitely a lot lower than, I kind of felt like it was 13, 14, but I mean, he missed time too. He missed time. It's hard to expect somebody to have top 10 running back stats when they've missed, when they, let's see here, hold on.
I bet like 15. I bet like 12 through 18 was pretty close too. Usually like.
Or not missed time. I didn't mean to say missed time. I meant say didn't start fast. He didn't get really he didn't really get on his horse till about week number 8. So sorry, not missed time. Yeah,
exactly. You didn't get the ball enough.
Yeah, so here's let me put up his game log just so people can see. And really the most important stats are those playoff stats and how he finished on the way out of the year. Like that's more important to me. So like we'll go over it real quickly. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, I didn't mean to say missed time. I'm sorry. I worded that wrong. Okay, here's the game log for Etienne. If we look at week 1, four attempts. Week 2, 9 attempts. Week 3, you got the 13 attempts. 8 attempts, 10 attempts, 10 attempts, 14 attempts. And then week 8, you could see a real uptick. 24 carries. That was when James Robinson was out of the picture at that point. James Robinson was very much in the picture the first month. And so Etienne, once he was getting 24, 28, 11, then he got banged up in that week 12 game. So he did kind of miss time in week 12. Came back and was kind of like eased back in week 13. So there were 2 games where you could say he was banged up. Then he's back to 17 carries in week 14. Then he's back to 19 carries, 22 carries. Then he had 9 and 7 in week 17 and 18. But then how he finished was important. You know, against the Chargers, 109, no touchdowns. But then he had a touchdown and 62 on the ground. Just such a yards per carry monster, you know? Like he's capable of averaging like 5 to 7 yards per carry. Like kind of like Jamal Charles did back in the day for the KC Chiefs. He'd be like a 5 yard per carry guy, 5 to 7. I feel like that's Etienne.
Yeah, no, his floor is very good if he gets the ball enough, and then if he gets it more, he's gonna explode.
Yeah,
and he just needs to catch.
10 plus total touchdown potential for him, but he needs the receptions. That's the hang up.
Yeah.
The test. Any final thoughts? I got to get going. Appreciate you.
No, I totally understand. So is there just another question? Like, is there any other players besides Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young and CJ Stroud that do you think will blow up in 2023?
I mean, JSN I think will have a good year. Bijan, Charbonnet, and Gibbs are all on my blow up radar.
Any QBs though? Besides Levis?
QBs. Okay. QBs. So I'd say Hendon Hooker's coming off the ACL injury. Otherwise, I would like him. I think Stetson Bennett's a sleeper, but I don't know that he's going to blow up or anything. We don't even know if he's going to get work at all. I would say no, man. I'd say it comes down to Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, Stroud, and then maybe Levis, and Hendon Hooker and Stetson Bennett. Those are later potential risers. I don't think there's anybody that's going to come in and just ball out. But you never know. I think landing spot's going to determine a lot.
All right, well, have a good night, Smitty. Thank you so
All
much.
right, hey,
for your
Detest,
time.
call in anytime, pal. Appreciate your hard work in the medical field, and appreciate you calling in.
No, I appreciate your hard work, man. You're streaming every day and sending us drafts and, you know, all your content and your insight, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
You're the best, man. And, like, honestly, you're, like, literally, like, honestly, one of the, like, literally the best fantasy football show in terms of, like, advice and in terms of, like, everything. Content.
The best ability is availability.
Have a good night,
The best ability is availability. That's why I'm here every day. Appreciate you, Detest.
All right. Have
Later.
a good night, my man. Take care.
Avi, any final words?
Not really. You know, just can't wait for the NFL draft, some Lamar trades. We'll learn more as we go on. So
Yeah.
keep
All
it
right.
up.
Thanks for calling in, Avi. Appreciate
later.
it. Later.
Yep.
All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, guys. Subscribe if you're new. You're watching the Dynasty channel, not the Redraft channel. So if you're watching this thinking that you're Dan Grimm in the building, damn the Grim Reacher, appreciate you. Thank you, Ada. Thank you, Russell. Russell, thank you for all the super chats earlier. Brian MC in the building. Travis Rowe, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that's in the house here tonight on the Dynasty channel. Stefan says, who do you want my Hawks to draft at backup running back Smitty? I guess, a Bigsby, Sean Tucker those would be great players. Deuce Vaughn. Etienne had a really great year. He was a great buy low. And he didn't go, let's see, what is this? He didn't do too bad on a buy high. Yeah, I agree. He could have had a better year. He just wasn't used really good early on. Appreciate everybody in the building here. Travis, we'll see you later. Terry Roberts in the building. Terry, I'll check my DM. Ron Navy was in the building. I don't know if he's still here. I'll see you all. Please subscribe on the way out. Please like the video on the way out. See you tomorrow. I'm live whenever news breaks on the main channel, by the way. If anybody's watching here and they're discovering me for the first time on this channel, keep in mind that on the main channel, which is in the description of the video, we're live every time news breaks, no matter what, on the main channel. 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday on top of that. And I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight, usually most of those nights. I'll see you all later. Later, Ben. Glad you found us. Subscribe if you're new to this Dynasty channel, everybody. Later, the Patrick. Terry Roberts, peace. Avi, thank you. Jarrett, appreciate you. Josh, glad you found the channel, Josh. Appreciate you. Garrett, later, pal. Ron says take a lap for being late.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hell of a job.